I was so blown away by Richard's adversity that he faced and then how he overcame it, and throughout his whole life, it feels like he shouldn't even be alive, much less successful, and he overcame all of that, and I was like, oh my God, and he's Mexican American like me. And then I was like, oh my God, yeah. But the story resonated with everybody, and so for me, it was just like, I have to tell this story. I didn't even think of like, oh, it's gonna be my first feature. None of that really factored in. I was like, I have to tell this story. And you know, it's fun, and there's a lot of heart, but there's a lot of humor, and so I was like, that's my superpower. I can tell that story, I can do that. So that's what happened.
That's what
I'm still shaking, you guys, from you guys. We didn't want to do the history of the Cheeto, we wanted to do Richard's story. And it's an amazing story. It's compelling, it's inspiring, it's complex, and so for us, it was easy to honor that. So many other things happened in his life that couldn't fit into the movie. I mean, there was like, whoa, what about that? What about this? There's so many amazing miracles and obstacles and things like that. So for us, we, you know, Devon and Linda and I knew from the beginning, this man's story is pretty special. And so every step of the way in the filmmaking process, our North Star was authenticity and really being authentic to Richard's story. Richard and Judy, please stand up. Richard and Judy. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Tell us.
What was your reaction to the film, Richard?
Oh, Richard, stay standing. Judy's dying because Judy hates the limelight. But Richard, go ahead. What was your question, sorry?
I was asking, what's your reaction to the film?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm just crying. And, you know, everybody really needs a Judy in their lives. Our lives have been wonderful, and we just hope that our young people will see this, those who need hope, because I believe it'll inspire hope. But the one thing that I got out of this is incredible for me. This is just for me personally, is that there's been a lot of pain in our lives, but this movie showed me the purpose for all the pain.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
There's a shorthand when you're creating, collaborating with people, telling a story like this who understand it. And I think there's also a shorthand when, you know, listen for someone like Richard and Judy who want their story to be told, to have someone who looks like them tell that story, someone who's experienced that tell that story. It's something that it's in your DNA.
You know, we look at Hollywood as a place that's super progressive, but there's a long way this industry has to go when it comes to representation and inclusion. And when you can go on set, and as people of color, you see people that look like you, that speaks more than you can even say. So we had department heads, we had crew. I mean, we wanted to make sure that this film wasn't just about what was in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So yes, it truly was a celebration of representation and inclusion in every respect.
The second I read the script, I immediately was like, I'm the only one that can do this. And there's certain projects that you try and choose and then you just kind of have to surrender and let it choose you. And I remember I just kept praying and being able to work with one of my best friends and mentors and telling a story that I relate to so much, that I've seen time and time again, being able to portray a woman who understood the power of partnership and understood her strength and understood being able to look adversity in the eye and say, a la madre. So it's been beautiful. I'm grateful, and I couldn't be happier.
couldn't have done this without Richard. We couldn't have done this without Richard and his story, like many others who are doing it and are continuing to do it, and the untold stories that this one finally gets to be told. I heard about this story a while back, and then when I had the opportunity to audition for it, I got put through the ringer. Like they read me a lot to make sure that I was right. I knew I was a guy, but they had to catch up. But it was such an honor to, and the pressure to honor a man who has such an important legacy, especially if you love hot Cheetos.